Hey everyone, welcome back to the Empire Build Academy. I'm doing the 9-step process for Evony, where there will be 9 different videos that go through the beginners, construction, research, troops, heroes guide, which is this one, defense guide, finishing off with the attack guide. There will be multiple videos in the events, but it will be all under the same header. And finally finishing off step 9, frequently asked questions guide. And once you've gone through all of these, you should be armed with some decent knowledge to go ahead and play Evony. As I said, this is the Evony heroes guide, and let's get a first look at a hero. Now, the place that you will find these is over here, and you will go into the generals tab, which is what the heroes are known on Evony, and you can see we've got some different tabs going all the way across there. We've got some military, we've got some development, we've got some duty, and we've also got some subordinate city. And you can also see as well that you can break these down via the ground, mounted, range, siege, defense, and mixed. And just to show you a place where you can see all the generals that are currently on the game, if you went into the recruit option here, and then once in here, what you need to do is go to the portraits option, and once inside there, you will then get a list of all the different generals. And then once inside here, you will get different cultures. So you can see Europe, America, Japan, Korea, going all the way across. We've got China, Russia, Arabia, and others. Again, we also have another drop down in here, and when you click inside there, you can see it's broken down by ground, mounted, ranged, siege, defense, mixed, administration, duty, and subordinate city. And if I was to go into ground, for argument's sake, these would be all the ground troop generals that you would use to attack or defend alongside that relevant troop. And again, if we continued down, and this time we had a look at defense, this is a general that you would place on your wall or your castle or your keep, which you'll also hear it called as well. So you can see in here, this is Europe, this is defense. We've got the likes of Richard the Lionheart, Queen Boudica, Jadwiga, etc. Another option I just want to show you inside here as well, refresh probability in tavern. And when you click on that, it will come with some percentage chances. And basically what that's saying is the 0.13%, that means they are available and you can go after them in the tavern, which is where we are. And just to jump back off this very quickly and just show you the tavern, this is where you would recruit those ones with the percentage next to their name. It means they can appear in here, and you can also see we've got different grades, so epic and historic as well. And if I was to tick both of these and then click refresh, those 0.13% that we're seeing would then pop out in here randomly as you go along. So obviously you're spending a lot of 50 gems to refresh. I'm just going to do this until a decent general pops out to show you exactly what that looks like. And you can see this one has stopped me. I can't go any further because I've got those 2 ticks in place. It wouldn't let me go any further until I click confirm. And this is one of those epic historic generals that we're talking about. And when you click onto the general, you are then shown some additional features, including leadership, attack, defense, and politics. We've also got the Ascension, which I'm going to talk about, specialities, which is going down here, and then you can also buy the general for a certain amount of gold. Now, going back to the portraits, clicking into this and then refresh probability again, and when checking the generals with 0%, just to explain what this is here, every second Friday a brand new general is brought out on the game, and this could be a ranged general, siege, mounted. They alternate them all the time, but as soon as they are brought out for the next 2 weeks, you will have the opportunity to get that particular general, and you would be able to get them at a bigger percentage than you would normally with other generals. So just to show you what that looks like in here, this time I'm going to go into items. I'm going to go down to my premium general tokens. These are them here, and you can see I've got 121 saved up of the epic historic general. And when I go into detail, and again I'll go into chance details this time, it's going to show me the most recent general at the top that is available via this method. So Shapur the First, only a couple of days left on this particular one before we get another one on Friday. So that is something to be aware of in there. And you will find that what people do with their general tokens is they will save them all up and they will use them all in one go to go after a specific general. If you are after a mounted general, you would check Friday, you would see what that new general is, you would see the stats he comes with, and there are a couple of criteria that you would base on whether you go after them or not. One of the most important ones as well is definitely march size if you're using for attack. But I don't want to confuse you too much with this. Let's go back into the hero and let's just break down the heroes on the game. So I'm going to go to one of my generals now. This time I'm going going to go into my saved ones, and we are going to use Queen Boudica as an example, because you may notice that she's got 5 red stars there. Her card is red, where you can see the other generals are all yellow card and yellow stars. The reason that is, when I click on the Queen Boudica card, this is what I'm presented with, and there are a few different options. Going down left and right, you can see that we've got these, which are our weapons. I won't talk too much about them. This is a dragon or a spiritual beast that can be attached. We have the power of the general, which does become important as you go further through the game. We've got the experience of the general, which matches up to this level here. So this level general is a 40, which can be no higher than your monarch level. So whatever your monarch level is how high you can take your general's experience to. So my monarch is level 40. I wouldn't be able to make Queen Boudica 41 until my monarch level was 41. Underneath that, we've got these, which are our specialties, and these also come with some additional buffs. Down at the bottom, we've got our Ascension, which I will go into in a minute. We've got skill books as well. You can attach 3 to each one. And then down at the bottom, finally, we've got Enhance, Cultivate, Specialty, and Covenant. Covenant is a recently added option that comes on some generals, and I will show you that as well. But let's go first and foremost into the spiritual beast. These are the different ones that you can attach, and basically what you would do is you would attach one of these spiritual beasts or dragons to your general based on what you're looking to do. So there are some generals that are specific to ranged, there are some that are specific to the wall, which is what Queen Boudica is, and there are some for other things as well. And that's what you would base your dragon, your spiritual beast on. The next thing is the equipment, and equipment is also done by that. So again, let's go out of Queen Boudica this time. Let's choose Marcus Agrippa at the top, and then when we click on Marcus Agrippa, you can see I've got no weapons attached, but that's because I'm just doing something at the moment. But if I wanted to, I could add these different weapons, and because Marcus Agrippa is ranged, which you can see via this, that is the equipment that I would be looking to add into there. I will do an equipment video. I won't add it to this troop one. I just want to break down what the different things are for the troops. So the next thing that we want to look at, so those are the specialties. We've got the equipment. This here that you can see is the cultivation. So when we go into cultivate, it's at the bottom. These are those stats here, and you can see as well that they can only go to 500 when cultivated. So there's no point in me going any further with this. There's no point in me spending any gold on this because I've got Marcus Agrippa to the max level he can. So that is for the cultivate. That's how you would do that. Enhance. This is where you would send the general to the 5 different red stars. When you click into this, those red stars that we are talking about are these here. They're called Ascensions. You will hear them called Ascensions, or you will hear people say, have you ascended your general? This is what they are talking about. And you will need fragment stroke copies of a particular general to ascend to the next level. And there's a criteria as to how many you would need before going to the next star. When you do go to the next star, you can see that this opens up more buffs for you to use with that particular general as well. When going into specialty, this is what these are here. This is your yellow ones going across. That is what the specialty is in relation to. And you can see again, we've got 5 different options at the top. So we have the ranged troop formation, we have Bash, ranged troop Ares, Battle of Tium, and then finally this is the battle-tested one at the end. They are all different for all the different generals, but they all come with these veteran, master, expert, grandmaster, and genius options. And when you go into there, you would then get these relevant buffs for each one once you've done the relevant specialty to that particular level. So Marcus Agrippa, not only is he maxed all the way in terms of his Ascension stars, he's also maxed in terms of his level. He's also maxed in terms of his specialties. And then the final one that we would want to look at on here is the Covenant. I was talking about this being a relatively new feature. Marcus Agrippa does have this, and this is where you can again unlock more attributes. It does get a little bit confusing, so I'm hoping I'm keeping this quite simple and quite basic in how I explain this. But basically, to explain a Covenant, you've got more attributes that can be unlocked based on owning other generals at certain levels. So it's not just a case of owning these different generals. They would also need to reach a certain level so that you could unlock the different Covenant attributes. I'm going to do that again very quickly with a different general. This time I'm going to choose one that isn't ascended all the way. So I'm going to use Beowulf as an example now so that we can see all from the beginning. So you can see Beowulf again, we have an option to add a spiritual beast at the top. We have an option to add equipment. We have his power, which is down here. We have his experience, which can go up to level 40 because that's my monarch level. We have these cultivate options here, which we would use with the bottom tab down here. We have an Ascension one here, which is used via the enhance option. We have skill books that can be attached as well. And then also going across here, these are your specialties, which will be used via this. And then finally, that covenant where you have to own a certain amount of generals to unlock different attributes. A lot to take in, but it does all eventually make sense when doing this more and more and more. So Beowulf, if I was having a look at him and I wanted to know everything about this guy, the first thing I would do is I would go in this gold looking icon here, click inside there, and then this will give me a breakdown of what this general is as a main, and then also what buffs can be unlocked at the different Ascension star levels. So Beowulf increases mounted troops attack and defense by 35%, increases ground troops and mounted troops HP by 30% when the general is leading the army to attack. And that is also another crucial part there as well. That army to attack can change to it leading the army. It can change to is the main city defense general. It can change to different things dependent on the general. And then like I say, you would unlock all these additional buffs going down here with the Ascension stars, which needs fragments / copies of the same general. In order to get a general all the way to 5 stars, you would need to draw the original general from that premium token one that I showed you earlier that has a new general at the top every second week. You would need 15 copies plus the original general to pop out to ascend all the way to 5 star. Each card you pull is 30 fragments of a general if broken down, and you need 450 fragments to ascend a general from 1 star all the way to 5 star. Hence the reason why at 30 fragments you need 15 plus then the original general in the first place that you're going to ascend. And if I go into enhance now just to show you what that looks like, you can see these are the different star levels that I can do. I would need Blood of Ares to be able to ascend, and that's the fragments there. It's asking me to take it to 5 star level 1. I would need 4 fragments of Beowulf. I don't have them. I'd need to go and obtain a copy to do that. 5 star level 2 would require more. 3, 4, 5. Once you've got it all the way to 5, that would be your first red Ascension star. And that would be this one here, which would then be unlocked via that method. This is why, and I'm going to go back again to the premium general tokens. This is why when people are going after a general, they will go after them with at least 70 or 80 tokens of your premium general token. The reason being is that when you use one of these general tokens, the chances of me getting Shapur the First, which is the current general, are 600% or 600 times more likely than the others. So in order for me to get 15/16 copies of Shapur the First, I would need around about 70, 80, 90, 100. It really depends on luck. I would need a total of 16 copies to come out via this method to be able to ascend all the way. How long does it take to save 120 tokens? I've been doing this for about 12, 13 months. It's not quick, but it is much quicker if you are a payer, because when you are a payer, you can get them via this method here. This is where it comes in a 99.99 pack. You get 1 token, but you can use a ×3 coupon. Don't have one at the moment, but they do come out every second week with that general release, and you get a ×3 coupon, which means for your £100 you will get 3 general tokens. You can see exactly how much it would cost to do a general straight away. It's not cheap, and also to make you aware, those ×2 and ×3 coupons will absolutely run out the more that you purchase this particular pack. This is why people spend tens of thousands of pounds on this game. It's never going to happen to me. I have to do it the old-fashioned way of saving up those premium general tokens to be able to do it. But I am going to go and just do it very quickly one last time. When you do things a couple of times in your head, it becomes more obvious what it is. So, first and foremost, items, premium general tokens. That is what we're talking about. This is how you would get your generals / heroes. In order to get a general ascended all the way to 5 stars that I've mentioned, you would need 16 copies out of those 121 tokens to drop to be able to do that. Then let's go into a general, which we can do via the recruit method. We can go inside there, we can go to portraits, and once inside portraits, you are then presented with all the different generals via all the different methods of their culture. You can break these these down by ground troop. You can break them down by defense. There is administration. Administration would be the ones that go and do all your gathering. Duty generals is another one where you would use these on a wall. If I was going into the embassy, you also have duty. And when you go into duty, there is even more buffs that you can also break down. And this is where you would add a general. So you can see on the Archer Tower, I have Bancheo. Bancheo comes with lots of different buffs because he's Archer Tower specific, and he is ascended to a certain level and also comes with 180% attack. I'm actually saying this video as I'm going along, and I'm like, oh my god, this really is a complicated thing to explain in detail. So I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to cut out some of these bits. I really am. Let's talk about the general. When you go into the recruit option, you can then see all the portraits of the different generals. And once inside here, this is the nice simplest way to explain this. You can see all the different generals. The generals that are available on this game are ground, mounted, ranged, siege. Those four there, ground, mounted, ranged, siege, are what you use for your attacks when going out and attacking other keeps, other enemies. You have a defense. That is a general that you would put on the wall, such as Queen Boudica. And mixed is one of those that you don't really use mixed, but they basically are generals that can do ground and siege together, but normally you would send a specific one there. The reason being is because mixed generals just don't come out every second week when they release one. Administration, that would be your generals for gathering and monster hunting and things like that. Duty generals, you would add these to your different buildings to bring you different buffs. Subordinate cities, again, that is another option. A subordinate city, you can have cities attached to your keep. I have 9, so I have 9 different subordinate city generals. That's how I explain that bit there. Come off that, we're now going to go into one of my generals quickly, and then once inside here, we're going to use Beowulf as an example. We've got some options here. This one here is to add a spiritual beast. These 6 spaces that you can see here, left to right, that is where you would add your equipment. You can see your power, you can see your experience, which can go up to the level of your monarch. Whatever your monarch level is, it's the maximum level that your general can be. Underneath that, we've got specialties, and these can be additional buffs again via the specialty tab down there. We then have cultivation options, which is this box here with the leadership, attack, defense and politics, and that is changed via the cultivate method at the bottom. Here we have our ascension. We use enhance to be able to do that, and in order to do that you need fragments of a specific general to enhance to the next level. We also have skill books, and these are again additional buffs. You get a total of 3 and they can be also added. There is actually a trick when doing this. I'm not going to say it in this video, but there is a trick which I will release as a separate video on how to get them maxed out to all 3 being red. Then last but not least, we have the Covenant, and this is where owning other generals, you must own them and got them to a specific level, can also open different Covenant attributes that can also be beneficial to the relevant general. Wow. That's not easy. If you've taken all this in so far, you've done really, really well, and I really appreciate it, and you should definitely like this video for that reason. Okay, when we go into the enhance, this is what will show you what this general is all about. This is where you would see all the details for what the general is. This description here will give you a good overview as to what this general is all about. You can see he's got mounted troop attack and defense 35%. This guy is a mounted general. And when you ascend to all the different levels, you can also see there is additional buff brought in as well. That is what ascensions are all about. And to show you what an ascension looks like if I was to try and do it, you would go into this screen here. You would need Blood of Ares, and you would also need relevant fragments to be able to do this. This all goes on a 5-level part for each star, so there would be 5 different levels that I would need to ascend before getting him to that first star level. There we go. And that is pretty much the general overall. I know it sounds like a lot, and it really is. It can take quite a while to get all these things in there, and that's why I do some of the Learn Evony in Minute videos as well, is to just break it down in smaller chunks so that you can understand, and that's exactly what I will do with the general. I do think it requires some of them smaller videos, but it was just an overview for you to see the general and what the different ones are. Again, if I just jump back into the recruit and I jump back into portraits and going into tab Tavern. This is a really good way to see all the different types of troops that are available on the game and where they would be attached to. If you have any questions about this particular video, then please do let me know in the comments. I will be adding this to empirebuildacademy.com, where I will try and break down all the different stages in there and also include some knowledge from other websites, etc. as well. And then hopefully once you've watched this video and read through some of that as well, it will all make it a little bit clearer. If there's anything I've missed, which there probably is, and you are watching this video and you've noticed that, then please do mention it in the comments. I'm going to leave the video there. I'm going to go and edit it and hope I can bring it down to its minimum, but I'm not 100% confident I'm going to do that. But hopefully you've got an understanding of the general on Evony. And I will see you in another video, probably an Evony video, very soon. Thanks for watching.